The Karate Kid wasn't just a simple teen martial arts drama. Screenwriter Robert Mark Kamen based Daniel's underdog arc on his own experiences of being bullied as a teenager. These are 20 hidden details you completely missed in The Karate Kid. Number 20. Robert Mark Kamen drew from his own teenage experiences of being bullied after attending the 1964 World's Fair in New York, combining those painful memories with a contemporary news article about a young boy who learned karate to defend himself. Kamen's personal connection gave Daniel's emotional journey authentic depth, capturing the vulnerability of an outsider struggling to find his place. Director John G. Avildsen recognized this authenticity during script development and encouraged Kamen to lean into those personal details rather than sanitize them. Watch Daniel's early moments of social exclusion at his new school. They echo the writer's own outsider narrative from decades earlier. The transformation from victim to victor reflected Kamen's wish fulfillment, imagining how martial arts training might have changed his adolescent experience. Number 19. Pat Morita significantly shaped Mr. Miyagi's emotional backstory by incorporating his own life experiences, including themes of loss, resilience, and the Japanese-American internment experience that weren't fully developed in the original screenplay. Morita worked closely with John G. Avildsen to add layers beyond the wise mentor archetype, insisting the character possessed genuine vulnerability and historical weight. The emotional bar scene where Miyagi drinks alone on his wedding anniversary while Daniel discovers his Medal of Honor wasn't scripted with such rawness until Morita insisted on exploring that pain authentically. His own family had been interned during World War II, giving him personal understanding of the loss Miyagi experienced. Watch how the performance balances dignity with profound sadness, creating one of the film's most powerful moments. Number 18. Producers originally pursued Japanese cinema legend Toshiro Mifune, star of Akira Kurosawa's samurai classics, including Seven Samurai and Yojimbo, to portray Mr. Miyagi, believing his international reputation would lend gravitas to the mentor role. However, significant language barriers and Mifune's limited English proficiency made the casting impractical for a dialogue-heavy American production, requiring nuanced emotional exchanges. Pat Morita auditioned multiple times for director John G. Avildsen, initially being dismissed as too comedic due to his television work on Happy Days. Morita grew a beard and returned for subsequent auditions with a more weathered, contemplative demeanor that convinced producers he could embody wisdom and dignity. Watch Miyagi's calm presence contrasting sharply with Johnny's aggression throughout the film. Number 17. Pat Morita personally designed the iconic bonsai tree patch sewn onto Daniel's GI during the All Valley tournament, embedding his own creative vision and understanding of Japanese aesthetics directly into the character's visual identity. Morita felt the bonsai symbol represented Miyagi's teaching philosophy about patience, careful cultivation, and disciplined growth, making it the perfect emblem for his student. John G. Avildsen appreciated the actor's initiative and incorporated the design into the costume department's final preparations. The bonsai motif also connected thematically to the film's gardening and maintenance work that formed Daniel's unorthodox training regimen throughout the second act. The patch became so iconic that it's now featured prominently in official Karate Kid merchandise and appears throughout the Cobra Kai series. Look closely at the bonsai emblem during training sequences and the final tournament. Number 16. Unlike most Hollywood productions that shoot out of sequence for logistical and budgetary efficiency, John G. Avildsen made the deliberate choice to film The Karate Kid largely in chronological story order, enabling natural emotional progression in Daniel and Miyagi's evolving relationship. This unusual approach allowed actors Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita to authentically develop their characters' bond without having to artificially recreate emotional beats from earlier or later scenes. Shooting sequentially proved more expensive and logistically challenging, requiring consistent location access and weather conditions, but Avildsen believed the investment would yield more genuine performances. Watch how Daniel's physical and emotional maturation feels organic throughout the film. That's partly because Macchio experienced the training journey in the same order his character did. Number 15. The impressive long tracking shot of Daniel and Mr. Miyagi entering the All Valley tournament arena required an exhausting 36 takes before John G. Avildsen was satisfied with the precise pacing, camera movement, and background atmosphere. Cinematographer James Crabe had to coordinate Steadicam operation through crowds of extras while maintaining focus on both lead actors and capturing the mounting tension of the tournament environment. Avildsen wanted the entrance to convey Daniel's nervous anticipation contrasted with Miyagi's calm assurance, requiring subtle performance adjustments across dozens of attempts until the emotional balance felt perfect. The lengthy corridor presented lighting challenges as the camera moved from darker hallways into the brightly lit competition space. Watch that crane shot carefully during the tournament sequence. Its deliberate choreography represents hours of repeated attempts. Number 14. The energizing Joe Esposito song, You're the Best, that defines the All-Valley tournament montage was originally composed and recorded for Rocky III, but ultimately cut from that film's final soundtrack before finding its perfect home in The Karate Kid. Music supervisor Bill Conti, who also composed Rocky's iconic score, recognized the song's driving tempo and motivational lyrics would perfectly complement the tournament sequence, showcasing Daniel's progression through multiple matches. The song's lyrics about fighting and proving doubters wrong aligned seamlessly with the underdog narrative, creating thematic resonance between two landmark 1980s sports films. John G. Avildsen, who also directed the original Rocky, appreciated the ironic connection between his two most famous underdog stories. Watch how the tournament montage's rhythm depends entirely on that song's tempo. Number 13. Robert Mark Kamen's original screenplay included at least 2 additional schoolyard confrontation scenes between Daniel and Johnny that were cut before filming commenced, including a humiliating pie-on-seat prank and a violent water fountain altercation. John G. Avildsen decided these extra encounters would slow narrative momentum and make Johnny seem excessively cruel rather than maintaining the antagonist's intimidating but somewhat sympathetic presence. The deleted scenes also risked making Daniel appear too passive and victimized before his karate training began, potentially undermining audience investment in his eventual transformation and triumph. Kamen later acknowledged that streamlining the bullying sequences into fewer, more impactful confrontations like the Halloween beach beating and soccer field attack strengthened the script's pacing and emotional impact. Number 12. The classic 1948 Ford Super Deluxe convertible that Mr. Miyagi gifts Daniel on his 16th birthday wasn't just a movie prop but became a cherished personal keepsake that producers gave to Ralph Macchio after filming Wrapped, and the actor still owns it decades later. The vintage yellow automobile required significant restoration work by the production's transportation department to ensure it looked appropriately weathered yet functional for filming the emotional birthday scene. John G. Avildsen recognized the car, represented a pivotal moment in Daniel and Miyagi's relationship, symbolizing the mentor's generosity and faith in his student beyond just karate instruction. Macchio later revealed in interviews that receiving the actual car as a wrap gift made the birthday scene even more meaningful in retrospect. Number 11. William Zabka, who portrayed antagonist Johnny Lawrence with such convincing martial arts aggression, actually came from a competitive wrestling background and possessed zero formal karate training before being cast in the film. His athletic foundation in wrestling provided body awareness and physicality that translated well to learning karate choreography, but fight coordinator Patty Johnson had to teach him all techniques from scratch during the intensive pre-production training period. This lack of traditional martial arts experience actually benefited the Cobra Kai fighting style, which emphasizes aggressive, unrefined power over the disciplined technique Miyagi teaches. Daniel. John G. Avildsen appreciated how the wrestling mentality influenced the choreography, making Cobra Kai's strikes appear more brutal and street fight oriented compared to Daniel's eventually elegant defensive movements. Number 10. Extras hired to populate the All-Valley tournament audience became so invested in William Zabka's intimidating performance as Johnny Lawrence that they authentically booed and heckled him even during rehearsals and between takes when cameras weren't rolling. John G. Avildsen recognized this spontaneous antagonism enhanced the tournament atmosphere and encouraged extras to maintain their hostile reactions throughout filming, creating organic crowd energy that feels unrehearsed. Zabka later recalled feeling uncomfortable during breaks because background performers refused to separate his villainous character from his actual personality, treating him with coldness. The tournament crowd scenes required multiple days of filming with over 200 extras, many of whom were actual martial arts students from local dojos. The crowd's authentic investment also benefited Ralph Macchio, who received genuine cheers that boosted his performance during Daniel's underdog matches. Number 9. Filming for the pivotal Halloween beach party sequence, which introduces Ali to Daniel while establishing the threatening presence of Johnny and the Cobra Kai gang, began on October 31st, 1983 to capture authentic holiday atmosphere with real trick-or-treaters and seasonal decorations visible in background shots. John G. Avildsen wanted genuine Halloween energy rather than manufactured aesthetics, so production scheduled the shoot to coincide with actual celebrations happening naturally around the filming area. area. The beach party was filmed at Leo Carrillo State Beach in Malibu, which provided the perfect coastal backdrop for the confrontation scene. The timing provided production designer William J. Kreber access to authentic costume party attendees whose real Halloween outfits enhanced believability without requiring extensive wardrobe resources. Shooting on the actual holiday created scheduling challenges requiring careful crowd control. Number 8. William Zabka was merely 19 years old during shooting, making his portrayal of high school bully Johnny Lawrence impressively authentic since he remained close in age to the character. This minimal age gap allowed Zabka to naturally channel teenage insecurity, peer pressure, and misguided aggression that motivated Johnny's antagonistic behavior beyond simple villainy. Ralph Macchio was 22 during filming, while Elizabeth Shue was 20, creating an age-appropriate ensemble that enhanced the high school authenticity. John G. Avildsen cast young actors to maintain believability, avoiding the common Hollywood problem of older performers unconvincingly playing teenagers. Zabka had recently graduated from high school himself when he auditioned, bringing fresh memories of teenage social dynamics to his performance. His youthful energy and genuine physicality shaped Johnny's swagger, making his character feel authentic. Number 7. Elizabeth Shue made the significant decision to pause her studies at Harvard University to shoot The Karate Kid, reflecting serious commitment to bringing Alley Mills' character to life despite risking her prestigious academic trajectory. Shue was initially reluctant to interrupt her education for what seemed like a modest martial arts film, but director John G. Avildsen convinced her the role offered meaningful character work beyond typical girlfriend subplot material. Shue was studying political science when she took the leave of absence, balancing her intellectual pursuits with her emerging acting career. She eventually returned to Harvard and completed her degree in 2000, walking across the graduation stage alongside her brother Andrew Shue. The actress later credited her academic background with giving her analytical tools to approach Aaliyah as a three-dimensional character navigating social pressure. Number 6. The famous crane kick that provides the film's climactic knockout blow isn't a standard competitive karate technique recognized in traditional martial arts, but rather a cinematic adaptation of Maid Toby Gary fabricated specifically for dramatic visual impact. Pat E. Johnson worked with John G. Avildsen to develop a finishing move that would be both visually distinctive and emotionally satisfying, drawing loose inspiration from various traditional forms without adhering to strict martial arts authenticity. The one-legged stance Daniel assumes before delivering the jumping kick became iconic precisely because it doesn't resemble typical fighting techniques, making it memorable and unique to this film's mythology. Johnson ensured Ralph Macchio could safely execute the move repeatedly while maintaining dramatic tension about whether the injured Daniel could physically complete such a demanding technique. Number 5. Produced on a modest $8 million budget, The Karate Kid exceeded all industry expectations by grossing over $130 million worldwide, making it one of 1984's biggest surprise hits and launching a lucrative franchise that continues decades later. Columbia Pictures initially projected moderate box office returns aimed primarily at teenage audiences, but the film's cross-generational appeal attracted families and adults who responded to the mentor-student relationship and underdog narrative. John G. Avildsen's previous success with Rocky gave the production credibility, though even he couldn't predict the cultural phenomenon it would become through summer word of mouth. The film opened in June 1984 against major competition including Ghostbusters and Indiana Jones and The Temple of Doom, yet maintained strong attendance throughout the summer through repeat viewings and enthusiastic recommendations. Number 4. Robert Mark Kamen's early screenplay drafts used different surname options for the protagonist before ultimately choosing LaRusso after Ralph Macchio was cast, deliberately selecting an Italian-American name that matched the actor's heritage and shaped the character's cultural identity. The name change wasn't just cosmetic, but influenced character details, including Daniel's Newark, New Jersey background, his relationship with his single Italian mother, and the cultural displacement he experiences moving to predominantly white suburban California. Kamen wanted the surname to immediately communicate ethnic identity that would make Daniel an outsider in his new environment, facing subtle cultural prejudice alongside the more obvious bullying from Cobra Kai students. John G. Avildsen supported the personalized name choice because it allowed Macchio to bring authentic cultural understanding to Daniel's experience. Number 3. Principal cast members underwent an intensive 3-month martial arts training regimen before and during filming to ensure authentic fight choreography, proper technique, and convincing physical transformation that would make Daniel's journey from novice to competitor believable. Pat E. Johnson designed the training program to teach Ralph Macchio, William Zabka, and other young actors fundamental karate principles, while also choreographing specific sequences that would appear throughout the film. Macchio had no prior martial arts experience, making his 3-month crash course particularly challenging as he learned basic stances, blocks, strikes, and kata forms that Daniel would gradually master on screen. John G. Avildsen insisted on this extended preparation period despite budget pressures because he wanted fight sequences to feel genuine rather than obviously staged, requiring actors to internalize movements. Number 2. Pat Morita's nuanced portrayal of Mr. Miyagi earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, a remarkable feat for a martial arts film, especially considering his previous career. Primarily consisted of television comedy work on shows like Happy Days. The Oscar nomination validated Morita's dramatic range and the film's emotional depth, elevating the Karate Kid above typical martial arts exploitation fare into recognized prestige territory. John G. Avildsen campaigned for recognition, believing the performance brought dignity, wisdom, and authentic emotion to a mentor character that could have been reduced to stereotype. Morita ultimately lost to Hying S. and Gore's performance in The Killing Fields, but the nomination transformed his career opportunities and cemented Mr. Miyagi as cinema's most beloved mentor figure. Number 1. The Karate Kid's unprecedented success spawned 3 theatrical sequels between 1986 and 1994, a 1989 animated television series, the 2010 reboot starring Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan, and most significantly the hit streaming series Cobra Kai that premiered in 2018, demonstrating the franchise's multi-generational impact on martial arts pop culture. The original film's themes of mentorship, perseverance, and redemption proved endlessly adaptable across different media formats and eras, with each iteration finding new audiences while honoring the 1984 foundation. John G. Avildsen returned for the first 2 sequels, while Robert Mark Kamen contributed to multiple franchise entries, maintaining creative continuity. Cobra Kai particularly revitalized interest by exploring Johnny Lawrence's perspective decades later, adding complexity to the original film's seemingly clear-cut dynamic. The Karate Kid endures because it balances emotional authenticity, committed performances, and genuine martial arts training. Pat Morita's Oscar-nominated portrayal and the film's unexpected $130 million box office success launched a franchise spanning 4 decades, proving underdog stories resonate across generations. Which hidden detail surprised you most, and what film should we open next?